We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Tua Tagovailoa and the rest of the Miami Dolphins offense. Really impressed from what I saw in this game. Just from the entire team, seeing that bounce back was super impressive. That's why I wasn't panicking after last week. Last game was frustrating, but seeing how they responded to this game told me everything I need to know about this team facing adversity. This isn't the same old Dolphins. I'll get to the defense, in the next video, but they were elite, so good in this game. And the offense, going against a very tough Jets defense that typically, shuts down their opponents, I really liked what I saw. With no Tyreek Hill, I thought McDaniel's game plan was really good, making, these plays quick, early, making the easy for Tua, and then that sort of, got him into a rhythm, and then he made some big plays down the line. They really got Waddle involved. I can't believe people, were starting to think Waddle wasn't a good player. He's very good, finally getting, to be used in that role where he gets, that volume like a number one. He gets to show how he truly is. I thought Tua had a really good game, showing that he's not like a Tyreek Hill merchant like some people think that he is. Really like to see him proving those doubters wrong. And then McDaniel sticking with that running game down inside in the red zone. The running game overall looked pretty solid. Just overall really feel comfortable. It was such a just big win, for just playoffs, everything, the implications that come with this game after that last week loss, and overall, really happy, proud of this team, and Tua, really going to focus on him throughout this video. He was very efficient, probably one negative play the whole game, and was just very sharp the entire day. To break down, this is like the second play of the game, show off, some of these quick passes they were throwing, a lot of like screens, things like this, just getting the ball out of Tua's hands, allowing his guys to go to work after the catch. I think the Jets clearly came out and expected the Dolphins to run the ball with no Tyreek, so they were getting some extra guys down there near the line of scrimmage, and the Dolphins took advantage of this with a quick passing game. And I like this little nuance that they showed here. This is like a different RPO for them, with Waddle motioning across, but then he turns around and basically turns into a bubble, and Reed sees this guy working upfield, so he gains a little bit of depth. Tua reads that, gets the ball quickly with guys in his face, and lets Jalen go to work after the catch. And this is just sort of how they were able to build some rhythm within this offense, and we're obviously going to get to some of those bigger, more impressive plays later on. Another play that was nullified by a holding, but it was actually one of the, probably their first shot down the field where, it was past 10 yards. All the other throws were basically at or behind the line of scrimmage. Dolphins did a good job attacking all the different looks, because Jets play a lot of quarters, cover 6. Looks like, they're playing cover 2 to the bottom here, and they get the look they want. Austin Jackson gets a hold on this play, and that's why it gets nullified. But Tua just in rhythm, throwing this ball. Ball's coming out as Waddle is about to break. Good anticipation. They're on the same page. Let it sit down there, and then throw with some good accuracy. Waddle ends up getting hurt on this play, but I think it just was the wind knocked out of him because he came back and seemed fine, which is good. But yeah, just like seeing these anticipation throws down the field versus the Jets defense, who, like, I know people will try to say, like, oh, it's just the Jets, but the Jets defense has really made most quarterbacks look terrible this season, and I'd like to see just a very efficient game from Tua. Didn't need to do anything too crazy all throughout, just have a few throws that were super impressive, big time in the moment, which he did. The rest of the game, he was, he was game managing, but he's also, shout out Cam Newton, but he was also being a difference maker as well, because you can be both, and Tua showed how you can do both even without your star wide receiver in the game. Just wanted to show this run because this is a 3rd and 2 on the goal line, and they ran the ball 3 straight plays, and it got in the end zone. Shout out McDaniel for making that adjustment. He finally did it in this game. All throughout, he ran the ball down inside this area pretty much every time. I think he might have thrown it once, and they were down there a lot, so very impressed. Want to see that ratio, just a lot of run plays, and now that you're doing this, it will open up more passing opportunities down in the red area like this. And it's just also shout out Raheem for breaking that record for the Dolphins. Another big time player he has so many like 19 20 touchdowns now. Very impressed for 31-year-old running back, and that's insane numbers for him. Love this design from the Dolphins. They know the Jets love to run man-to-man on these like 3rd and short, 3rd and medium situations. So have Achane align on this side of Tua to the left, and then have him motion to the opposite side of the field. Now a linebacker has to chase him, and it just creates a natural rub play out there, and just gets Achane easy work. Tua sees it the whole way. He identifies man-to-man coverage, gets the ball out to Devon. I hope, once Achane's like 100% healthy, they can really start utilizing him again, because I feel like he's just out there playing at like 80% if I had to guess. But I do like seeing him more involved in this passing game. I feel like, once they build that repertoire, he just adds just another big threat down the field. I know they tried to take that deep shot to him last game, and he was open. Those opportunities are going to be there with a player like him, and I do like how they've been, adding to his role, and that's just a very nice design on a 3rd and short to just pick that up, and then Tua and Achane just being on the same page, identifying the coverages. Very, very good stuff all around. Here's Tua going through his progression right here. Like to see it, getting to that second read over the middle of the field, 2nd and 7. He is not just a one-read quarterback. I don't know where that narrative still comes from. Sometimes could he go through his progressions faster? Sure, you could say that about every single quarterback, but he's definitely not on the bottom tier of this. Looks to the bottom, tries to, see what Waddle's going to. Doesn't like what he sees initially. He kind of takes his eyes off. Probably thinks this DB's in a good position, but kind of as he turns his head away to get to his second read, Waddle does kind of beat him. But I do think, this is pretty good work. He even peeks over to Chosen just to kind of widen this linebacker enough and then split it in between. And the Jets are a tough defense to pass over the middle of the field against, and they had pretty solid success hitting in between the 2 linebackers who actually do a very decent job in coverage, so giving to us some credit here. But like to see him just getting through quickly, making some quick and decisive plays, and this is a very accurate throw, and good job by Durham hanging on to this, and just him being on the same page, literally splitting these 2 defenders evenly, and Tua throws it away because he starts to float a tiny bit towards this guy, and Tua throws it away from that guy and just perfectly executed up front. Love to see that out of the team. This was one of the sacks they got. It was a 3rd and 3. Jets just do a good job on the back end here. This is more of a coverage sack in my opinion. There's he's starting to the bottom with his progression here. Tua, nothing's really open. This is dead here. The route to Barrios is definitely taken away. The really options here are Waddle and I think that's Cedric. Cedric is going to come open, but by the time he's about to come open, Tua's literally under pressure. He's open now, but Tua's getting hit as that's happening. And Waddle and Cedric kind of were in the same area at the same time. But yeah, just a coverage sack here. Good job by the Jets. But I had to show this because I think this is the play before the big one where they do the Waddle celebration after the sack. Feeling a little uncomfortable. I think Jackson got hurt in this game, which is unfortunate. It wasn't his best game overall either. And I would say overall with, 3 backup offensive linemen in versus a pretty solid Jets front, I was pretty happy with the results. Could have been better from the O-line, but not too worried about it. They did a good job scheming some help for those guys. Now the play of the game for the offense, solid running the ball. You come out in 1st and 10 after, they mock the Waddle celebration and take the deep shot. Love it. They see a quarters look to the bottom. This is just, it's poetry in motion. Just watch Tua on this play. Everything is in rhythm. Look at his eyes, what he's doing to hold the safety, look them off, freeze them, and then look at his footwork within the pocket. It's all tied together beautifully, perfectly in rhythm, and then just drops it into the bucket. Waddle doesn't have to slow down at all. I feel like, last year Tua was a pretty solid deep ball passer, but there was plenty of times where his receivers did have to slow down at least a little bit, like a half a step. This year I feel like that's very rarely happened. He's been one of those guys I've just seen hit them in the bucket. Great route by Waddle too. Like, you get to see him be what he is, one-on-one. He gets some extra time, and he's just explosive. Gives a little hesitation right there over the top. He's holding the safety. Good job by Tua stepping up in the pocket. It's just beautifully timed, and wow, that's an absolutely beautiful throw. Definitely not, a Tyreek Hill merchant, and don't want to discredit what Tyreek Hill brings to the offense because he's so important. He's a great player, one of the best players in the NFL, but these other players on the team could still have success without him. They're also very good, so you have to give them their credit when it's due, and I feel like, a lot of guys tried to take that away from Tua, and I'm glad that he came out here and really shut some of those people up. Nice to see Tua just really getting, Waddle involved on these 3rd downs, and Waddle made a lot of catches. He only technically had like one play he probably should have caught, but it was a very contested play. Good play by the defense. Wouldn't really count it as a drop with how contested it was. It did hit Waddle in the hands, but the guy was right there all over him, draped. It was a good throw too. But here on 3rd and 4, Tua makes a nice read. He was making good decisions. Sees that, they're showing some pressure here up front, but the linebacker drops, so he's not going to be able to get out here in front. He's just reading the safety, sees that he gains some depth here, and then gets the ball out so quickly to Waddle. A lot of times when you're throwing this ball, this safety would end up destroying Waddle, but he throws the ball so early and doesn't completely throw him into the safety that Waddle's able to protect himself, get low. Good job there from Tua making that adjustment. They also get a penalty at the end. That guy gave a little extra there, but he apologized for it, so But overall, yeah, like this quick decision making from Tua, and when you make these decisions this quickly, it's able to help your receivers be protected, and they just kept converting these third downs. Another third down, 3rd and 6. Like to see Berrios getting involved. That was another thing I was thinking about. I'm like, I want to see Berrios get more involved on these third downs. They get man-to-man coverage. Great catch adjustment from Braxton down at the bottom. Also, I mean, they're showing pressure. Tua does a good job getting the ball out quickly. They're bringing pressure, slide away from it, and then as soon as you hit the back foot, look when he throws this ball. He's preparing to throw it. Berrios is not even broken yet, and it's just an absolute great touch and accuracy on the ball, giving Berrios a chance. You can see him recognize this. That's his best option to go to based on, the coverage there. He gets the man-to-man look. I don't know. The Jets, like I was saying, they did not make those adjustments like the Titans did against this offense. They went to what they usually do, running, quarters, cover 6, man-to-man in these third down situations, and the Dolphins just absolutely thrived against it, even without Tyreek. I do think that's a big reason the Dolphins do actually find some success without Tyreek on the field, is actually teams decide we don't need to go to those cover 2, Tampa 2 looks. If they don't have Hill on the field, we could just kind of double Waddle, give him those bracketed looks, and they really can't do anything else. But the Dolphins just excel versus that. And then this play from Tua was his one negative. It was when throwing that out route almost gets picked again. I'm glad it was dropped because he hasn't had too much luck this year with dropped interceptions. I feel like I've seen other QBs get interceptions dropped all the times. This could have been, another pick 6. This one wouldn't have mattered as much because this game was absolutely over for sure. They put them away so quickly. And I do understand why he threw this one more compared to that other pick versus the Jets. Ball's a little off to the right there. Nice to see Tua catching the ball out to the frame. Not a terrible snap, but not perfect. And then, he sees Cedric on a linebacker, and I think he's like, oh, I'm going to take this. But this linebacker actually does a really good job breaking, gets explosive out of it, so he throws it. And Tua throws it a little behind Cedric as well. He probably sees the corner out there ready to break, so he wants to not lead him too far into that. But that almost gets picked. Could have been very dangerous. But I would say this was literally his one negative play of the game, and I don't think he expected that linebacker to read that play so well, which, shout out that guy, made an excellent play, but he didn't catch the interception. Another third down. Dolphins convert again. Tua manipulates with his eyes. This guy drops down. They're basically playing man-to-man with a robber right there over that bunch, and Tua just manipulates that guy with his eyes. Just look at Tua with 21 right here and what he does, and when he releases it, you can see the stripe on the helmet. His eyes are going in this direction exactly. 21's off the screen, and then look where he releases it over the middle, and it just moves him out of the way. Completely moves him to the right, his right, to his left, and it just gets absolute perfection. You can see it now from the original angle, what the effect that to his eyes had on this guy. Look how much he moves over, and it gets Waddle in stride, and Waddle's not going to get guarded man-to-man from that deep like that, and he's just so explosive, and you get to see some of that speed, getting in and out of those breaks super fluidly. I'd like to see that Waddle was super involved again, because I do think if Tyreek Hill wasn't on this team, I think Waddle would be considered pretty widely a top 10 receiver in the NFL, just based on the volume that he's getting, and you would see how talented he truly is. This time a 4th and 5 conversion. Another great job. Tua does this probably better than any QB in the league. Eye manipulation, freezing defenders. He just did it. This is a very, very not easy throw to make. Love that him and Waddle just being on the same page. They're showing pressure again pre-snap. They're, mugging the A-gaps with their linebackers. They drop out of it. He sees this linebacker going into this lane. He's pretty much just maneuvering him with his eyes. Hold him. And now that Waddle's about to break across, he's preparing to throw it. Waddle's not even past him yet, and then hits it perfectly between. Waddle starts to slow down, and he changes direction. You can see his explosiveness after the catch, making plays. That is just beautiful stuff. And on 4th down, Tua's out there doing what he does best with his manipulation, his accuracy, decisiveness. And for a guy that's, not really known for having a strong arm, he will fit those balls into the windows because of how quickly he is throwing them. Last play that we're going to break down. This video was much more fun to make than last week's videos, and I'll have a lot more videos out this week. There's so many players that really stood out and impressed me, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I'm going to probably get to a lot of these guys. But yeah, looking at Tua, they showed a lot of pressure. Another 3rd and 4 situation. They're showing pressure pre-snap. Can't really do this to Tua, whether they bring it or not. Tua does a great job against it. And he knows, as soon as he sees this edge guy go, the way these defenders are playing, it looks like quarters. And he sees that corner open up his hips pre-snap. He knows he got the exact look he wants. He's just going to throw it to Smythe down in the flat. Just he sees how much depth is gained, and he's going to take that all the way. Just having a feel for space is very important, especially just understanding you see the exact looks you get pre-snap, who's going to get out into the flat. This corner is not playing as the flat defender down here. These guys are going to have a very difficult time getting out into the flat and taking that away, and Smythe just gets there right away. I think Durham did a good job in this game as well, just being reliable, getting to his spots, and that was a big part of getting some nice plays. I'm starting to look ahead towards draft prospects because I'm a big draft guy, and I'm really starting to look towards this tight end class. And while I don't know if there's a guy that's like a absolute perfect fit other than Brock Bowers, who the Dolphins will have no chance to get, there are some guys who I think could add some value, especially as guys after the catch. So I'm really looking in through that. But yeah, love the quick decision making from Tua. I think he proved a lot of people wrong, and we'll see what else new narrative they come up with. They'll also say that the Dolphins can't beat good teams, and the Jets aren't a good team, but they are a very, very good defense. So I'm happy from what I saw with the offense. They have 10 wins. I think they have a very good shot. Even if they lost out, I think, to make the playoffs, I think 10 probably gets you a wild card spot. Very likely. Obviously, you don't want to lose out. But looking at the rest of the games, I think it's a perfect schedule, actually, to heading into the playoffs. Want to see them versus the Cowboys. Cowboys coming out for a very tough loss. Ravens game is huge if you still want to fight for the first seed, which I would love to see them get the first seed, but I'm also just like, let's just win the division right now. That's what I'm really focusing on. And then the Bills game. If they win their next two, they win the division. They win one and the Bills lose one, they win the division. Or they lose their next two, it still doesn't matter. It would just come down to that last game versus the Bills. So overall, this Jets game was huge just for getting a win within your division, within the conference. And then they were able to bounce back after a very, very rough loss, probably their worst loss of the season. Just for coming off their best win of the season. And Dolphins showed up. They were hungry and they made plays, and that's what I love to see. It's not the same old Dolphins in December. Now they're 2-1. So if you guys did the video, make sure to come subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.